My name is Lina and it's knitting time. Actually, I wasn't going to film an episode today, but Simon, my partner, and Iris, our 8-month-old daughter, were leaving for the day. I have the day by myself. And he was like, are you going to film an episode today? And I was like, no, I didn't intend to. But then I thought about it and it's almost been 3 weeks, I think. And I have a lot of stuff to show you. So I thought, why not? Let's just take this opportunity of some me time and film an episode. So here we are with episode 4, which is crazy. And I would just like to start by saying thank you so much. If you subscribed, if you watched and enjoyed, there are a lot more people here now than there used to be. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And I don't take it for granted. So I just wanted to say thank you for hanging around on my little corner on the internet and knitting with me. So yeah. Also, while I'm on the topic, I would like to ask you all, if you're subscribed to my channel to watch my knitting content, do you also enjoy reading and book content? Because I used to make a lot of book videos on my channel. That's why I started this channel originally. And I've been making book videos for many years. And in the first English episode of Knitting Time, I'm stating that my book videos will still be in Swedish and my knitting videos will be in English. And recently I've been reconsidering. So I'm thinking about doing the book videos in English as well. Because right now I feel like I'm putting them off due to the fact that I'll make them in Swedish and it feels weird since there's a lot more of you here now and you subscribed when I was speaking English and maybe you don't even speak Swedish. So it's a dilemma and I'm thinking about doing it in English. So I would just like to put it out there and ask you how you feel about it, if you're even interested in those kinds of videos where I talk about books and reading, because as you can see behind me, I do really enjoy books. So just let me know your thoughts on that, if you're interested at all or if you don't care. And if you do care, do you prefer me doing the videos in Swedish or English? Just let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'm gonna get into the episode now. Let's start with what I'm wearing. This is not a recent finished object, but I realized that I've never worn this in an English-speaking episode of the podcast when I was talking to Francesca from an Italian knitter on Instagram about these colors. And I was like, yeah, I made my no frills in that color and we talked about it. And I realized I never wore this one, in an episode. I wore it in, I think, the first episode I ever made, but that was in Swedish. And my hair was a lot more fancier than it is today because I had just been to the hairdresser. So yeah, I decided to wear it today because I don't have a finished object to show you today, which is strange. I kind of have 2 finished objects, but they're not 100% finished. So I'm not going to count them as finished. I do not have a finished sweater that I could wear today. So I decided to go with my no frills. This is knit up in Sunday from Sandnes garn in the color blue. I think it's just called 5846. Held together with Kids Drop Silk in the color, I think, Koboltblue 21. If I'm not remembering incorrectly. Anyways, this is the first no frill sweater I made. This is the first actually sweater I made, I think. Yeah, this is the first garment I knitted for myself, which I think you can tell. I don't think there's lots of mistakes or anything like that. I don't think you can tell that way. I can tell because I find the sleeves too big. They're just a little bit looser than I would prefer today. So if I were to knit, if this wasn't my first garment, I know that I would have modified this to make the sleeve a little bit smaller because that's my preferred fit for the sleeve. But I'm really happy with this, how it came out, especially since it's my first ever garment that I knit for myself. I did knit a few onesies for Iris before I knitted this one. But also, I will say, this is the first garment I knitted with mohair. And it's probably the last. Am I allowed to say that on the internet? Or will you all oh my god, what are you saying? I feel like everybody loves mohair. It's not my thing. I really don't think it is. I made this sweater using mohair, and I've made the Oslo hat also by Petite Knit using a strand of mohair, and I don't love it. I really don't. I feel like the mohair that I used for the Oslo hat, which I gifted, so I don't have it here, otherwise I would have shown you. But I feel like that one, oh, I do have the swatch. Hang on. Ta-da! So here's the swatch that I made for the Oslo hat. As you can tell, it also has mohair. I don't know if you can tell, but it's also fluffy. No, I was gonna say that this would have been better as a garment, but honestly, I don't think it would. Because my problem with this sweater is that it's itching me to death. So I'm wearing it now, and I have like a long sleeved shirt underneath because otherwise I can't wear this next to skin. And like the long sleeved sweater that I have underneath, it goes up to here. So this one covers a few centimeters more, and it's itching like crazy. So I'm doing this for you because honestly, this is the sweater that I've made that I wear the least because of the itching. And I wanted to say that it was because I went for the budget mohair with the drops kid silk. And I was going to show you this swatch that I used for the Oslo hat. Because in that one, I've got mohair in my mouth. Because for that one, I went for the thin silk mohair by Sandnes garn, which is a lot more expensive. It's a little more high-end mohair, if you will. And I was going to say that maybe that would have scratched less. But I don't think I would have liked it either. So no. Honestly, I just don't think I'm a mohair person, and I think that's fine. I really do like the way it looks with a halo. It's so fluffy, but I just can't do it. So maybe I'll try some like brushed alpaca silk or something like that in the future. But as of right now, I am very happy knitting without mohair, and yeah. That's just it, but I thought I'd pop this on today since I haven't worn it in an English episode, so that's what I'm wearing. It's not a finished object today. So, like I said, I really don't have like 100% finished object to show you. So I will show you the first one that is kind of finished. It's kind of finished. And it's funny because last episode I told you that both of my kind of finished objects today would have been finished, but they're not. So, the first one is the Anker's onesie that I'm making for Iris in the size 9 to 12 months. Oh, I made this in the size M, if anybody's interested. I have a bust circumference of 107 centimeters, and I made the size M with a little less positive ease, I think, than the pattern recommends. But I feel like Petite Knit is very oversized, so I usually go for like the smaller end of her circumference recommendation, sometimes even less. And the only thing I have to say is that the sleeve is a little big, I think. But the bust circumference is perfect. So yeah, that's what I did. Anyways, this is the Anker's onesie in size 9 to 12 months that I was showing you in the last episode, where I'm using sandnes garn, the blue that is actually left over from this project, and red that is actually leftovers from the first Anker's onesie that I made for Iris when she was teeny tiny. And I talked about this in the last episode. I told you that Simon, my boyfriend, he said, yeah, it kind of looks like Captain America. And after that, this knit very quickly turned into a Spider-Man costume. I don't know how it happened, but I mean, look at it. It is 100% Spider-Man. And the only thing that this is missing, because it's basically finished, what it's missing is the buttons, obviously, which is why it's going all over the place now. And I need to Kitchener the little crotch area. But other than that, it's finished. I weaved the ends, I knitted the sleeves and the lace and everything, so it's basically finished. I just need to sew buttons, block it, and Kitchener the little crotch. That will be super quick. But yeah, I was knitting with the blue one and on the leg, and I realized very quickly that I'm not gonna have enough yarn because I wanted to knit the sleeves and the legs blue and then just do the ribbing red like I did on the sleeve here. But I realized going down the leg that I'm not gonna have enough blue for that. So I did the blue as far as I could go on both legs. which is, yeah. And then I just went for the red, and I was like, okay, so I'll have the bottom of the leg will be red, and the sleeves from like the yoke split will be red. But then I realized that I'm not gonna have enough red. And I don't know how this happened, because like I said, I was using leftovers, so it was basically scrap yarn. But I weighed it and everything, and I think I had like 4 grams less than the pattern recommended. And with all of the petite knit patterns I've knit so far, I've ended up with like an entire ball left over. So it was like 4 grams is gonna be fine. And it was not. So I knit the legs, and I was like, I do not have enough yarn to make the sleeves red. It's just not gonna happen. So I actually purchased another ball of the blue to make the sleeves, and then I used the red for the ribbing. And on the second sleeve, I realized that I don't have enough red to do the ribbing. This is what happens when you play yarn chicken. Oh my god. So I was like, I'm not gonna buy another skein of red to do like 2 rows, because that was basically, I had 2 rounds left, and I was like, I can't buy another ball to do that. But then I remembered that I did have a swatch with this red from the first Anker onesie that I made. So I frogged the swatch, and I used that to finish the ribbing. But now I'm kind of mad at myself for not just buying the blue skein when I was like realizing that I was gonna run out of yarn, because if I would, I could have made the legs blue like I planned, and then the ribbing red. But you know, what you gonna do? This is what it ended up being like. And honestly, as soon as I thought this looks like a Spider-Man costume, I can't unsee it. I really can't unsee it. So now I am thinking about, which is why I haven't sewn on the buttons yet, because I do have buttons for this in my stash. But I am now thinking that maybe I'm gonna get me some buttons with like spider webs on them, just to embrace the Spider-Man situation. And I don't mind Spider-Man at all. I love the Avengers, and I'm a superhero fan, so I really do not mind Spider-Man. But it was not my intention to make this a Spider-Man costume, but you know, I might get me some web buttons to match. We'll see. Anyways, this is what I made, and no like modifications. I just follow the pattern. This is size 9 to 8 months, and it looks huge. Like if I'm thinking about Iris, I don't think she's this big. She's 8 months now. But I compared it to one of her pajamas. That's like tiny bit too big at the moment, and it's not that big of a difference. And I was like, is she really this big? So this should be fine for autumn and winter for her, which was the original plan. And then I will need to make her something for like 12 months to like 1 to 1.5 years, because that's also going to be a cold period here in Sweden, and I don't want her to be cold because we spend a lot of time like in northern Sweden in the mountains during the winter, like skiing, riding snowmobiles, hanging out in the snow. I don't want her to be cold, so I will knit her something for then. But this is her autumn, early winter clothing. Oh yeah, this is the red yarn that I have left, and this is basically the swatch that I had to frog. And I have this much left of the blue, and I really like this color, and I like this yarn. It does pill a lot, but I don't really mind. I'll just depill it. So I'll use this for a scrappy project. I'm thinking, because the Oslo hat that I made with the mohair is also held with 1 strand of sandnes garn Sunday. So I'm thinking, and I do have 1 ball left of that as well. So I feel like there might be a stripy Sunday sweater in my future at some point. Not right now, because I do not have enough for that right now, but if I keep like collecting little scraps, that's what I'll do probably. Anyways, that's my first almost finished object. Moving on to my next almost finished object, which is my zipper sweater. And this is knit up in Drops Nepal in the colorway Deep Ocean, which is 8905. Looks like this. I've talked about this a lot, so I'll not go deep into it. Haha, deep ocean. I do have a lot of this left. Like I have 4, almost 5 balls left. We'll do something with that at some point. Anyways, this is the zipper sweater. I have finished the sleeves, both of them. Also finished the body. This is basically done. The only thing that's missing is the zipper. And the reason that I haven't finished this is because the zipper arrived in the mail today. I'm gonna double check if the color is okay because I haven't done that. Yeah. It's not like perfect, but I think that can work, right? I went for the navy one. It's not perfect color-wise match, but I think that'll be okay. Yeah. So that's the reason this isn't finished, because I didn't have a zipper. Now I do have a zipper, but I don't have the time at the moment to finish this, which you'll understand in a minute. But as soon as I do, I'm just gonna get this finished and we'll have a zipper sweater. I'm so excited for this. I did make a few modifications. I really wish I would have tried it on sooner when I was making the sleeve, but I was just on a roll, so I just went for it. And then when I tried it on to see if I was supposed to start the ribbing, I realized the sleeve was a little wider than I would have preferred. So if I would have tried it on sooner, I would have made like more rapid decreases to make it smaller, which I didn't do, and it's fine. I made a few extra rounds of decreases before I started the ribbing, so now it's a little balloon sleeve. Not super like a dramatic balloon sleeve, but there's a little balloon effect. I don't mind, but I would have preferred for it to be more fitted, but you know, I don't really care. So yeah, if I would have minded, I would have just ripped it back and redone it, but I didn't feel like doing that. That's also basically finished. I'm not gonna talk super much about it right now, but I'm loving this and I'm really looking forward to it existing in my wardrobe. Those are my 2 basically finished objects. And they are also the 2 that I told you that I would have finished by this episode that I have not. You know, that's life. Moving on to actual works in progress. The first one is a sweater that I haven't shown you before, and I finished the yoke in the body. I have there's just the sleeves left. There might be a little while before I do finish those. Maybe before the next episode, we'll see. But it is my Yggdrasil pullover by Anna Sjösvärd. This is knit up in, do I have the yarn? Yeah. Filcolana Peruvian. And this is the color 141. I think it was called Alaskan blue. It's very, very baby bluish. And I love it. This was a recommendation from Caroline's Knits. I was chatting to her on Instagram, talking about like what yarn to use for this project, and she suggested this, and I'm so happy about it because I love this yarn. It kind of feels like heavy merino from Knitting for Olive, but it's a lot cheaper, and I love the feeling of knitting with it. I really enjoyed this, so I will definitely make more projects with this yarn in the future. But this is my Yggdrasil pullover by Anna Sjösvärd. I'm making it super cropped. I also think it's super cropped in pattern. And I enjoy the cropped situation. And my like torso is built the way that like as soon as my boobs stop, you're already at my waist. So when I make the cropped sweaters, basically I almost start the ribbing before my boobs end, if that makes sense. This is a pullover that has a braid over the raglan, as you can see. And I did, to be honest, I read the chart wrong. So I don't know why though, but I did. So I did the braid the wrong way. The braid is supposed to go that way so that they're turning away from each other. I read it wrong, so my braid is turning towards each other. And when I figured it out, I realized that I was doing it. I was like, I don't mind. I don't care. Nobody will know. So, well, obviously you know now because I told you, but you know. So I just kept doing it that way. Also, I added, because in the pattern, and you can see where I did it here. In the pattern, it has one purl stitch on each side. And I just felt like I wasn't getting as much of a definition around the braid as I preferred. So here, I added another one. So I do have 2 stitches on each side of my braid. And then the braid also continues down like the side of the body. And I don't know, because I don't think you were told in the pattern if the braid was supposed to go all the way down or if you were supposed to do the ribbing like I did. And the sample pictures, she knitted a sample that is very dark green. And honestly, I couldn't tell on the sample pictures if the braid went all the way down or if it was ribbing. And I did a few, like I looked at pictures in the Ravelry project, and I feel like people did different solutions. Somebody did ribbing, somebody did the braid all the way down and ribbing on the side of it. So I just decided to do ribbing. Yeah, that's what I preferred. So I did the ribbing. And also I did change the way I was doing my raglan increases. I did change it at the same time as I changed to one more stitch in the purl, so you can see it because it's here. And then I changed the way I was doing it because I didn't think in the pattern you're doing it using like yarn overs and stuff, which meant that I never had a round where I was just knitting. There was always something to like remember to do, if it was like twisting your yarn over so that not creating a hole or making the yarn over or whatever. And I wasn't enjoying it, honestly. I didn't like that way of doing the raglan increases. So I just decided to do it the way that I usually do and that I enjoy, which is just make one right, make one left. So at the same point where I decided to add another stitch, I switched the way I was doing my increases. And honestly, I think it's a lot neater. That's my preferred way of doing it. So that's what I did. And yeah, I added a little contrast to the collar so that I know what's the back. I bound off the body using Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Nobody is surprised because I use that for everything. I love it. And yeah, now I just have the sleeves left. But this beautiful thing is being put on hold because I have a work in progress that I started this morning that I have a very, very tight deadline for. So everything else is on hold at the moment. But yeah, that was my Igdrasil pullover by Anna Sjörsvärd. I'm really looking forward to wearing this winter over like a dress. So the next, and I'm sorry if this is crinkling, because for some reason I didn't put this into a project bag. I just kept it in the paper bag that I got when I bought the yarn. And I showed you this before because I showed you the yarn and the bag was all crinkled up because it was in my suitcase. So this is what I'm making using my Lana Gatto VIP that I talked about in like the last episode. I bought this yarn. So now I'm actually using it. And I am making a modified version of the No Frills sweater. Because I talked about this in the last episode that I wanted. This yarn is very luxurious and it's so soft. It's like 80% merino, 20% cashmere. It's super luxury. It's so soft and amazing. And I wanted this to be the star of the project. So I wanted to make something basic with it that I could use every day because that's what I like. So I cast it on the No Frills and I cast it on the size medium, the same as this one. But like I told you, I feel like the sleeves were a little bigger than I would have preferred. And also I wanted a little bit of not a statement, that's too much. But I wanted the raglan seam to be a little more defined. So what I did is that I took 2 stitches from each arm and I added them to the raglan. So instead of 1 raglan stitch, which is the way the No Frills is knit in the pattern, I have 2 raglan stitches. And this is what I've done so far. I haven't finished the yoke, but I've gotten this much of the way. So I'm just doing the No Frills pattern, but like I said, I do have a little more defined raglan seam because I did 2 stitches instead and I took 1 from each arm, 2 from each arm. So the arm gets a little smaller, the raglan gets a little more defined. And honestly, I am not really following the pattern. I don't know like how far I've gotten compared to the pattern when it comes to the increasing for the raglan, because what I am gonna do with this is just gonna keep going, keep trying it on, and when I get to a point that I like fit-wise, I will split for the sleeves. So I'm using the no frills pattern as like a base, but then I'm freestyling from there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this being done. It's so soft. I would like to wear it all the time, I think. Compared to this itchy thing, I love this one. So that's also happening. I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm enjoying it, but it is also on hold at the moment. Because, and I would just like to put a little disclaimer here. I think that my sister watches some of my videos, but I'm not sure she watches all of them. And if she does, I don't think she's caught up. Anyways, if you happen to be my sister, then don't watch this next part. So, my sister's birthday is coming up very soon. When I'm filming this, I think it's the 23rd of August. And my sister's birthday is the 11th of September, which is very soon. And I decided that I'm going to knit her the Sille slipover by KnitsByLina. Because she wanted a slipover. We talked about it like a year ago. And I was going to use a different yarn, but then I don't enjoy that yarn. I was going to use the Cotton Kings that I used for my Semper sweater, and I didn't enjoy knitting with that yarn. So I didn't want to do it in that yarn because I was going to make, you know, it's a structured knit. And I was just not feeling that yarn. That's why I put it off for so long, because I didn't want to make it in that yarn. And then I just decided that I'll do it in a different yarn so that I enjoy the process, and I think she's gonna enjoy the finished object more, because I don't think the Cotton Kings Sultan Deluxe Shine that I used for the Semper sweater would be a good fit. So I ordered some Knitting for Olive Merino. This is the color Petroleum Green. And I'm using this held double. And I'm a little bit stressed because, like I said, her birthday is in like 3 weeks or something. Yeah, and this is the kind of knit that I need to focus when I'm doing, because it's structured and you have to follow like sharp. So I can't do it when Iris is just playing around and I'm, you know, hanging out with her at the same time, because I need to think about what I'm doing, and I can't do that if I'm also thinking about what she's doing. So I knitted today when Simon and Iris are not at home. I started this morning and I've gotten this far. Da, 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 da. So I have made this is the back panel. I made the increases for the shoulders. I did the length you're supposed to do, and I'm now going to do the increases for the armhole, and then start the front panel. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna film this video, I'm gonna edit it, and while it's uploading, I'm gonna keep going. And then I'm just gonna keep going on this one until Simon and Iris comes back home. And then I'm gonna try to get into a like headspace where I can knit on this while she's hanging out with me or I'm hanging out with Iris, because I need to get this finished before my sister's birthday. We'll see. I think I can do it. It's fine. But I feel like I should have started a long time ago. Anyways, this is what I'm doing. It's the Sille Slipover by KnitsByLina. I'm doing it in the size small. And I think that will be fine. My sister's bust circumference is 88 centimeters. And the small is 96 centimeters. I'm going to be fully honest and say that I cheated a little bit on my swatching for this. I swatched the way you're supposed to, in like the pattern and everything. I blocked it and all of that jazz, and it was just way too loose. I could feel it when I was knitting it that this is not going to meet gauge at all. It's going to be way off, and that was on the recommended 4mm needles. So I just went down to 3mm, and I do like the fabric it's creating a lot more, but I haven't checked if I've got gauge. So the risk is that it's a little too big, which I don't think will be like an enormous problem. It's made to be a little bit oversized, and I think she's going to be wearing it over other things. But yeah, just something to keep in mind, that it will probably be a little big. Might be. So I'm gonna try to think about that when I'm doing like things that I could adjust the size for. So like increasing or the length and stuff like that. And I did ask her partner if he could like sneakily measure one of her like t-shirts that she wears a lot, just so I have like something to base this on, because the only measurement I do have is her bust circumference. So he's gonna measure a little bit for me on like length and stuff like that. This project is putting everything else on hold because this needs to be finished. So I'm gonna knit on this as much as I can. And if I'm doing something where I can't knit on this because I need to focus on what I'm doing and whatever, then I will probably knit on this one because I want to finish the yoke. I feel like when I'm making a sweater, the second you split for the yoke and you just see it turn into the sweater shape with the sleeves, my soul sings. So I just want to get to that part. But I need to finish this as well. So that's priority number 1 at the moment. Most likely, maybe not. Well, maybe this is gifted before the next episode. In that case, I'll pop in pictures, but maybe I still have it. We'll see. I'm gonna see my sister on the 10th of September. Her birthday is the 11th, like I said. So I'm gonna gift it to her on the 10th. So if I'm making another episode before that, I might. Then I'll show it to you. Otherwise, you'll see a picture. Yes. Those are all my works in progress and kind of finished objects. Now we're moving on to acquisitions. The first acquisition is obviously this one. The Knitting for Olive Petroleum Green Merino. But then I do have an acquisition that's for me. And I was watching Francesca of an Italian knitter that I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. I was watching her, I think, latest episode where she's wearing her peacock tee. And I've seen the peacock tee by Knit a lot. And I really do love the design. And I've been thinking, I want to make that. But I haven't been 100% inspired to do it because I didn't know what color I wanted to make it in. And then I was watching Francesca's episode and she was talking about it and I was still like, yeah, I really do love that pattern. And then she talked about the peacock sweater and how she wanted to make it in orange, the way Caroline's knits did. And it just clicked. And I was like, oh my God, a peacock sweater in orange, that's what I want, that's what I need. And I went on to the website of my local yarn store and they did have a sale of like colors from Sandnes garn Lana that's being discontinued. And one of them looked very orange in the picture. So I was like, oh my God, I need to go get this because it's like, it's a sign. And I was so excited too. I was talking to Francesca about it. I was like, I'm gonna go get it. I'm doing it. And I went to the store. And the yarn that I thought was orange, that looked orange in the pictures, it was way too mustard in real life. Like mustard is not my color. Yellow and pink, I think, are the only colors that like, they're not my colors. Maybe I can do yellow. I do have a yellow sweater that I do like a t-shirt that I like. Maybe yellow could be my thing. But it was more mustard than I wanted. It was not what my heart was needing. And I was so sad. So I was like, oh no. And I went like looking around the store. I didn't find anything that like fit my orange needs. And I was like, okay, so this means either that I'm not doing the peacock sweater, the peacock tee right now, or I just get over myself and do a different color. So I bought a green. This is Lana Sandnes garn. I don't know what the color was. It's 9062. I don't know what it was called. It's this like dark olive green, I would say. And I do really like it. It is a beautiful color. And I'm super excited to cast this on and make the peacock tee. I'm just a little bit sad that it's not orange. And it was so funny though, because at the same time, Francesca was talking about buying this blue yarn, making this no frills sweater. And she was looking for an orange yarn as well. And And I sent her a picture of the sandnes garn Sunday in the color That Orange Feeling. And if you don't know that yarn, it's like neon orange. And I was like, if you're willing to go a little bit neon, this one is amazing. And she was like, I am not willing to go a little bit neon. I thought it was hilarious. I am willing to go a little bit neon for orange. So I will knit something in that orange feeling someday. But I wanted the peacock tee to be summery and not merino. So I went for the Lina, I went for the green, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's kind of funny though how my knitting works, because we're like at the end of summer now, in Sweden at least, and I'm thinking about casting on a summer tee. And in the middle of summer, I was knitting my zipper sweater in a wool alpaca blend. I feel like I'm not following the seasons. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. But like, I also still want summer yarns that are orange. So if you do have a good recommendation for a summer yarn that is not acrylic or nylon, I want it to be like cotton, linen blends maybe, in like a good orange. I'm here for those recommendations. I would love some. I do know that Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino has a really good orange, but I feel like there's still merino in there, and I want it to be a little more summery. Maybe the cotton merino is summery. I don't really know. I've never knitted with that one, but I feel like the merino aspect of it might make it too warm. Yeah. If you have good recommendations on the orange front, I'm here for it. But I think that's everything I'm going to show you today. I don't have any more acquisitions. I think. No, I don't. So, yeah. Oh, actually, I do. I have one more. I'll show you. I'll go get it. Hang on. Da, 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 da. I did get one skein of this. Or is this a ball? I never know the difference of a skein and a ball. Do you? Like, if you do, please let me know. Because, or maybe the skein is like the braid thing, and the ball is like this. Maybe that's it. Anyways, I got this one. I only got one of this. This is Rauma finull in the color 4025. It's like this very, very, very bluish, green, blackish thing. Probably just looks black on camera, but it's greenish, bluish, black, very dark. I use this yarn when I am knitting my notions pouches and felt them. And I'm always like, I can always use one of those. So I always like to have one of these on hand for when I'm like, I need a notions pouch. I can just knit one up and felt it. So whenever I go to my local yarn store, I browse the colors. And when I find a color that speaks to me in the Rauma finull, which is the yarn I'm usually using for that, I just get it. So I got one skein of this to eventually make a notions pouch, just to have in stash for when I need another notions pouch. I have yarn in my eye. Yeah. Those are all my acquisitions. My finished objects, I didn't have any. And the works in projects. Works in progress. I always say works in projects. I don't know why. It just comes out that way. Yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I'm gonna go edit this, get it uploading, and then keep knitting on my Sille slipover because it's stressing me out a little bit. I'm enjoying it. It's the first time that I'm making a slipover that like you knit the panels separately and then you join in the round. It's also the first time I'm doing like a structure thing. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm just a little bit stressed because I started it too late. That's my fault. It's not like I didn't know when my sister's birthday is. I think that's all I had to say. I'm a little scattered today because I feel like I should be knitting on that slipover right now. So I will go edit this and then knit. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please let me know what you're knitting on. Please give me good summer yarn recommendations that have like good oranges, and let me know what you think about the book videos. Yeah, have a great day, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.